Hello dear students, this video is about how to recognize the inference and rhetorical language questions in English in the Toefl course. Here we have this first information. What are the inference questions? Well, they are the questions that ask you to identify information or comprehend an idea that is not plainly stated in the reading passage. You can recognize the inferences because they are going to be usually including some important words. These words are imply, infer, or suggest. How are these questions done? How they are presented? Well, usually these types of questions are going to often have a specific language, like this that we have in here. For example, they may say, why does the author mention? The author mentions in order to. The author includes the information of something in order to. The author uses information as an example of. The author mentions information for which of the following reasons. The author does this or that in order to. What is the author's purpose in mentioning this or that? So whenever you see these questions, you have to be sure that we are talking about inference questions. So here we have what these answers have to contain whenever you use these phrases in English. Well, you have to say that to show or to illustrate or to account for or to explain something. These are the language that you are going to use, the phrases in your answers. You may say to support the idea, to refute the information, to oppose the situation, to criticize the event, to question the situation, to contrast or to compare information. So whenever we answer, be sure to use these phrases in order for you to help yourself to construct a better answer in your TOEFL exam. So here we have an example. It says, it is an article about the nature of astronomy. It says, astronomy is defined as the study of the objects that lie beyond our planet Earth and the processes by which these objects interact with one another. We will see, though, that it is much more. It is also humanity's attempt to organize what we learn into a clear history of the universe, from the instant of its birth in the Big Bang to the present moment. In considering the history of the universe, we will see again and again that the cosmos evolves. It changes in profound ways over long periods of time. For example, the universe made the carbon, the calcium, and the oxygen necessary to construct something as interesting and complicated as you. Today, many billions of years later, the universe has evolved into a more hospitable place for life. Tracing the evolutionary processes that continue to shape the universe is one of the most important and satisfying parts of modern astronomy. So when you read the article, then you will have to identify the question in this type of inferences. It says, why does the author say, for example, the universe made the carbon, the calcium, and the oxygen necessary to construct something as interesting as complicated as you? Well, we have here the four options. Letter A says that the author says that to explain one way in which the universe has evolved significantly over great lengths of time. Letter B says to explain why the universe evolves so much over long periods of time. C, to describe one topic of study in the field of astronomy, and D, to prove how quickly the universe evolves. Now, try to think which is the correct answer for you. Letter A, B, C, or letter D. You have to be sure that you are identifying the rhetorical question that is usually the one that explains completely the answer to the question provided. So, now that we have read the 4 options, I hope that you have your option in your mind, because we are going to identify what is the correct answer. And the correct answer is letter A, right? The letter A explains one way in which the universe has evolved significantly over great lengths of time, right? So the correct answer is this one, because the specific example is directly preceded by a broad statement about how the universe changes in profound ways over long periods of time. It does not explain why the universe changes over the time, right? So in letter B, for example, nor does it describe a field of study in letter C, or how the universe evolves quickly in letter D. So A is the correct answer because the specific example is directly preceded by a broad statement about how the universe changes profoundly in different ways over long periods of time. It does not explain why the universe changes over time. B does not describe a field of study, or C, how the universe evolves quickly in D. So that is the correct answer for us to be careful, and you have to read completely and correctly the passages for you to understand better. So now, let's continue practicing in our course. Take care. Bye-bye.